Wanna learn more about the Atlas maps, the gold nuggets, or the hidden traps? This is a showcase of old and new. To half listen or fall asleep to with a blind watcher!
Greetings, fellow exile. I am the Blind Watcher, and this is the Path of Exile to Atlas map tier list. I just want to preface this by saying that all of these maps are being rated internally in context of the game. Grinding gear games have a very high baseline quality for everything that they do, and every single map is beautifully done and perfectly executed from a technical standpoint. But some maps just appeal more to me as a player, maybe to you as well. And so the criteria basically that I will use for this rating is first and foremost the visual appeal and thematics. It's very important to me when I play that. If the map is just relatively boring, that has a negative impact. I don't mind running a subpar layout, for example, or fight a mildly annoying boss if the thematics and the visuals of the map is great. Then I will also take layout and enemies into account, so enemy density. How fluent is the gameplay when I run through the map? Do I continuously kill people, or do I need to run around and look for stuff? Do I find dead ends that I have to run back and backtrack? Stuff like that has a negative impact on that score. And also I will take the boss encounter into account. Then of course we also have some areas. Of course we have unique maps, we have deadly maps, we have league content maps, and those things will also be taken into account. Now, of course, as you might understand, this is a highly subjective opinion, and this is really made to have some kind of showcase for all of the maps, as well as some commentary, and have it as some kind of fundament for discussion. So I would love to hear your opinions. Maybe you think Augury is the best map in the Atlas, and please let us know in the comments why that is. Spoiler alert, I don't think so, but yeah. The way I will do this is that I will divide this tier list into 3 parts, where I will go through first maps named A to E, then maps named F to P, and the last part will have all of the maps named Q to W, so the start of the names, that is. Great, so let's head into it. So our first map is Abyssal Depths. Now, Abyssal Depths is not a standard map, of course. It's not something that we can put a waystone in and run whenever we want to. But if you run Abyss precursor tablets and you really want to farm this content, you will run Abyssal Depths more than any other area in the game, I would assume. So I still wanted to talk a bit about it. And what I feel about Abyssal Depths is that, while it is pretty good, it's still a missed opportunity in many ways, I feel. Like, we have some really killer maps, for example, Cliffside or Sinkhole, that have a lot of variety to them and a lot of different areas almost within the same map. And that's what I feel a league content area like this needs to have in order to not feel boring after a while. So basically, whenever I run Abyss in maps and Abyssal Depths opens up, it's like, yeah, an Abyssal Depths nice, I will get more Abyss content and items and stuff, but it also is not the most fun experience to jump down into that hole, because you know you will run something that you got bored of, or relatively bored of, after like the 10 first runs. So I also understand that grinding gear games need to really focus on the main campaign and getting the game, the base game done. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would flesh this out later. Like, the Abyssal Depths could be so much more, it needs more variety, because you run it a lot if you farm the content. So for me, Abyssal Depths will actually be it will be D tier. It's not terrible. You still get the jaw bones and the collarbones and craniums and stuff that you're searching for, and that feels good. But yeah, as a map, I think it's not what it should be in relative to how often you run it. Okay, so next up we have Alpine Ridge. Now, Alpine Ridge is a tower map, so this one you find in the mountain biomes when you want to expand your vision of the Atlas. I think all of the tower maps are pretty decent now that they always have bosses, and they're not that common. You need to actually run them in order to get a good grasp of where you are in Atlas and where you want to head next. The layout is fairly good. Like, it's mostly linear. It's not hard to, if you just want to run through it and get the vision on the Atlas, it's not hard to just quickly run through it. And kill the boss and get what you're looking for. It's the final boss is also one of my favorite bosses. It's like this dual fire ice witch combo in the end. So yeah, it's a tower. It has a nice boss fight. The layout is pretty good. I will actually put this into it's A tier or B tier. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna put it into A tier. It's also visually very appealing. It's a very nice looking map. So yeah, it's A tier for me. Okay, next up we have the Assembly. So the Assembly is a Vault City / grass biome map. And it's basically this big Val factory with a lot of robots and machines, and you have these like glowing red lines going through it, etc. Now the layout is not the best. It's like semi-open with rooms and corridors and stuff, pillars everywhere. It's decent. It's very easy to find your way to the boss if you just want to rush it and just get through it. So it's not the worst. Now the boss is Tetzcatl, the Blazing Guardian, which is one of my favorite bosses as well. It's this Val construct, which I would deem one of the more iconic bosses of the entire game. Like I think this is one of the first bosses they showed off in a trailer back in the day. So it's really has that, and it's also Tetzcatl. You face this boss in more than one map, but this is really the one map where it really fits the setting, I think. So with that in mind, I would probably put the Assembly in. I think I will put it into B tier. It's a decent map. It's a really decent map. Okay, so now we have probably the most controversial map of this list. It's been a lot of controversy the last couple of days surrounding Atziri's temple. These players that managed to set up a temple layout that is it's basically a divine farm. You get like 100 divine plus per hour just running the temple all over again. And I'm not gonna take that into account for this tier list. I'm just gonna rate it based on how it is as a area that you run. And I feel like in terms of league content, it just blows Abyssal Depths out of the water, because they have clearly put a lot of attention into all of the details. There are a lot of different rooms. The variety is pretty high, even if like the overall layout of the map makes it quite repetitive. So the bosses are also pretty good. I think the architect is fine. Atziri is really cool thematically, and it's a really cinematic feel to it. So what do we do about Atziri's temple? I think as a map, like if this was just randomly generated and you can run it through waystones, it would be pretty interesting. I would probably want to play it fairly often. I think I'll put Atziri's temple into B tier. Okay, so now we have Augury. So Augury is, I don't know if it's controversial among players. Like for me, it's one of the worst maps in the game by far. It was even worse before, but they did some fixes, like you don't have to actually stand for 2 seconds activating the beacons. They are a little faster now, etc. But I mean, the layout is terrible. You have these like parallel corridors with a lot of rooms. You have like these choke holes everywhere, bottlenecks with doorways that you have to get through. Even small normal minions can block you, and you need to blow them away before you can continue. You have this forced mechanics of you have to actually run pretty much through the entire layout before you can get to the boss, because you activate the 3 beacons. The boss is decent, like the Chimera, but it's like yeah, it doesn't really save the map. So yeah, Augury for me is it's F tier for sure. One of the worst, if not the worst map in the game. I just don't like these forced sub-objectives within maps. If you want to do that, go play Diablo 4, I guess. It's one of my biggest pet peeves of that game before I stop playing that. Maybe they have fixed stuff since I played this last, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, so next up we have Azmerian Ranges. Azmerian Ranges, in my opinion, is one of the best maps in the game. I played this map once, and I immediately remembered Azmerian Ranges for what it is. I remember the boss fight, I remember the layout, I remember the stunning visuals with like the variety. You have these villages, the vegetation, you run this cliff with the backdrop far away. There are like pastures with cows and stuff. Like it's really really cool. The final boss is pretty cool. It's like almost like Viper. Morrowind, the Kinslayer she's called, which is actually pretty sweaty sometimes. And yeah, for me Azmerian Ranges is a top tier map. It's a S tier for sure. Okay, so then we have Backwash. A Backwash is like a generic forest map, I would say, in most regards. The layout is fairly open, but also pretty annoying because there are a lot of small islands of trees and stuff that you can't pass, so you have to run through these like small passageways and stuff in order to completely clear it. The final boss is cool. I like this Yauta, the Losam, is like this big lady taking a mud bath and then coming at you with a huge mace. She's pretty disgusting, but yeah, I think it's a cool boss. I think it's the only map, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the only map that has this boss as well. So if you want to play that boss, you don't have any other place to go. Now, I'm a sucker for forest maps in general. I like the green maps that have a lot of color, a lot of vegetation, interesting stuff to look at, etc. So I would probably put Backwash, since the layout is not optimal, and it's not one of my favorite forest maps, I would probably put it in C tier. Yeah, C tier is good. Okay, next up we have Bastille. So Bastille is it's an interesting map. It's pretty varied. You have this like a combination of indoors fighting in rooms and stuff with outdoor setting. It's set in a desert environment. Sorry, it's a grass forest biome type. In the end, we fight Vayner, which is the Frostbane. It's this like revamp of the campaign boss, the Fallen Sun, with the fire and stuff in Act 2, and it's decent. I think actually the Frost boss is more interesting and more sweaty and a bit trickier than the fire one. At least if you can kill them relatively fast. So yeah, I like this map. The layout is decent, the boss is interesting, the thematics and the visual appeal is pretty high to me. I think I'm gonna put Bastille in B tier. Yeah, B tier it is. Next up we have Bloodwood. So Bloodwood is another forest map. Now I have to rank forest maps in relation to other forest maps, and in my book Blindwood is one of the worst ones. The layout is forests are in general, but the layout I feel is worse than most forest maps. I feel like it's more side passages, more dead ends, more backtracking. But maybe I was just unlucky when making the content for this video. Yeah, in the end you fight the Gory and the Moving Earth, which is one of my least favorite bosses. Is this like a huge worm that you... It mostly stands still in place and you just tank and spank it. So yeah, Bloodwood for me is probably... Is it worse than Abyssal Depths? Yeah, it has no special content. Like, I don't want to run Bloodwood if I can avoid it, so... Next up we have Blooming Field. Blooming Field is also a pretty special map, I feel. It's like also this like kind of forest map, but you have a lot of these thorns and stuff, a lot of flowers, enemies that comes at you. And the final boss is also pretty interesting. So the Black Crow is, I'm not sure, but I think it's the only map boss that's smart enough to run from us after he gets a little spanking. So you almost feel bad for him, but it's also pretty fun to kill him. So in that sense, Blooming Field is pretty fun. Now if you just want to steamroll the map and just path through in the Atlas, then he is pretty annoying. So there's a backside to that. Now, where do I put Blooming Field? I feel like Blooming Field is better than Backwash, but I don't feel it's... Is it above Bastille? No, I think I'm gonna put it in C tier here, above Backwash. Just next to Bastille, yeah, under Bastille there. That's a good spot for it. Okay, so next up we have Bluff. This is also a tower map, so it's the grass biome tower map, which means you get the vision in the Atlas, etc. when you complete it. It has a similar layout to Alpine Ridge and the other tower maps, which I think is fairly good. You find your way to the boss easy. The enemy density is fairly high, I guess. Not the highest, but decent. The boss for this one, though, is not as exciting as Alpine Ridge. It's the Chimera again. He's called Gross or Cool the Apex. It's a decent boss fight, but it's overused, I feel. You fight it in the Temple of Chaos, you fight it in the campaign, you fight it pretty much everywhere, so... I think still a tower map, you want to do it to get the vision. The visuals are pretty good. So I will put it in high B tier, above the assembly. Next up we have Burial Bog. Now Burial Bog is one of my least favorite maps for sure as well. The visuals are pretty... they're dull, they're grey. There's not too much happening. I feel like all of the caskets and stuff laying around randomly. The crypts it doesn't make sense from a thematic standpoint. The boss is also pretty meh in comparison to most other maps. So for me, Burial Bog is it's an F tier for sure, but it's not as bad as Augury. You can still run through it and just clear it if you want to. The boss is not that hard to deal with either, so... okay. Then we have a very special one. The Burning Monolith. This is an instant S tier. Like, if we didn't have the Burning Monolith in the game right now, then we wouldn't have any way to, like, feel like we have actually completed the game in some sense. Like, this is the final boss, the Arbiter of Ash. And while the area itself and the boss arena is not the most exciting, I think the boss fight is actually really good. Like, you have a very good combination of you have to be tanky to tank certain stuff. You have these one-shot mechanics which requires you to move correctly. You have pretty much everything that you want in a boss fight. So yeah, for me it's S tier. I really like the Arbiter of Ash fight. Yeah, next up we have Caldera. So Caldera is this like a volcanic field almost, where you have to... it's a pretty open layout. The layout is decent. It's mostly circular, I believe, and pretty open. It's not the best one, it's not the worst one. Just decent. Otherwise, I think the thematics and the visual appeal of the map is it's also like mid, I would say. And the boss is pretty easy and pretty boring mechanics-wise, but I like the idea that you have this fight in this arena with all the small goblins like yapping about and cheering you on, or cheering on the beast maybe. But yeah, so Caldera for me it's not a great map. It's like, it's whatever. I would put it in D tier, I feel. Maybe or perhaps E tier even. I will put it in high D above Abyssal Depths, I think. Yeah. Okay, so here we have the Canal Hideout. Now the hideouts I will not rate very seriously. Like if you feel like the hideout, just pick the hideout you feel is the most beautiful for that purpose. When running them in the Atlas, it's not much to say. They are quick and easy to clear out, and you can use them to path fast in the Atlas. So if you don't need the hideout, if you already got it, you will just ignore it if you don't need to do it. And if you have to path through it, you're pretty happy because you can just clear it very fast and be on with it. So for me, the Canal Hideout is a very mid C tier. There's nothing much to it. Okay, so now we have Canyon. So Canyon is this like desert themed map, which has like it has a combination of outdoors, pretty wide passages, and indoors, almost like ornate chambers kind of stuff. And in the end you fight the Morvac the Infernal, which is this huge flame beast which comes out of these big doors. That's pretty cool. The thematics of the boss fight is pretty cool, and the arena is pretty cool. But the boss itself is not the best. In my opinion, Canyon is it's not a great map. It's the visuals mostly that makes it for me. It's pretty colorless and boring in that way. So I will put it in E tier actually. I wonder if it's above or under Bloodwood though. I'm gonna put it above Bloodwood. Okay, so next we have Castaway. Castaway is it's a unique map, so it's hard to find and has some special mechanics. This is the map where you fight the pirate. First you have to find these, I think it's corpses or something that you have to activate, 4 of them or 3 of them, in order to have these souls find the place where the hidden treasure is. Then you have to go to kill the pirate boss, which is called Torek of the Drowned Fleet. You get his satchel charge, and then you find these souls that mark out the treasure. You put down the bomb, you detonate it, and you get a shit ton of gold, which is it's decent. Like, the problem with it is, like, right now I think I have like 8 or 9 million gold on my character. I'd never spend it. The only way you spend it is if you have luck and you find one of these Gamba strong boxes where you can just throw in a couple of million and that's it. So if you don't need gold, there is no reason to do Castaway. Castaway, like, visually it's pretty boring. I think the boss fight is the coolest thing about it. And the mechanics of, like, getting the satchel charge, finding the treasure, digging it up, etc. It's fun to do 1 time, maybe 2 times, but then, I mean, you've done it after that, so there's not much more to it. So yeah, if you need gold, if you're starving for gold, maybe early in the Atlas, I would say you're really happy to see this and you want to do it. But otherwise, it's not very interesting, so that's what I'm gonna rate it on, I think. And if that's the case, then I think Castaway is a low E. Maybe I should take into account that it's at least something that's extra interesting and something you want to do early when you come to the Atlas. Yeah, let's put it in C tier for that reason. Okay, so now we come to Cenotes. Cenotes is also one of my favorite maps. This is one that I early on learned to recognize the name and know what it is, and that I want to do it. It has the layout is not the best, to be honest. The layout is pretty bad. You have a lot of sideways, and you have to backtrack sometimes. You head to the wrong direction, etc. It's not the easiest map to find a boss in, but it's stunning visuals, and I actually like the final boss. The final boss here is Balak, the Sky Seer, which is this huge bird which kills you with wind, basically. He flies around, he flaps his wings and shoots wind bursts at you. He creates huge tornadoes and stuff. And I think it's both interesting from a mechanic standpoint and a thematic standpoint. So for me, Cenotes is actually one of my... it was one of my favorite maps, and still it's pretty high, so I would put it in the A tier. Mostly because I really like to run it because it's beautiful. And I'm not sure if I want to put it above Alpine Ridge. Yeah, I think actually I'm going to put it above Alpine Ridge. Next up, we have Channel. So Channel is also this desert Faridun city type city biome. It is pretty mid in my opinion. Like, the layout is not the worst but not the best. There are some tight passages where you can get stuck against enemies and stuff like that. For a desert map, this is pretty good if I come to think about it. The final boss is Huth, the Fallen Sun, which is like this from the campaign in Act 2, this big fire dude who was abandoned by his mother or whatever. And that boss fight is pretty decent in my opinion. So in total, I think this puts it like somewhere in the middle. It's not the best, it's not the worst. It's a decent map. I'm not sad to run it. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking for it, you know. Yeah. Okay, so now we have Cliffside. And Cliffside is also one of my favorite maps, for sure. It's one of the visually most interesting maps in the entire game, in my opinion. The layout is not the best, to be honest. It's fairly annoying, if you're gonna be fair. A lot of tight squeezes. It can be a bit confusing sometimes, but mostly it's pretty linear. And it's just this beautiful, you come into the harbor, you have this cool city vibe, and then you head up and you get to the cliffs and you're outside for a bit, and then in the end you fight Brachus. Brachus is the worst part of this map for sure. Like the boss fight is not something I really enjoy. I think he's a bit out of place in many ways. Like he shoots these massive fucking solar beams. He builds like a castle within the arena. You have to like have him throw rocks at stuff in the arena in order to kill him, because he gets an invulnerability shield otherwise. And it's like Castaway in a way. Like it's fun to do the first 1, 2, 3, 4 times, but then it just gets annoying. So for me, Cliffside is still an S tier though. I want to run Cliffside whenever I see it on the Atlas. I don't care if it's inefficient or not. Yeah. Okay, so Confluence. Confluence is it's a very generic desert map really, and it's actually one of the more boring ones because it has this like grayish dull vibe to it. And the final boss is Manata the Serpent Queen, which is also one of my least favorite bosses, which you fight in many maps, and there's really nothing that exciting about it. So for me, Confluence is... Now I'm hesitating if it's worse than Canyon or better than Canyon. I think I'm gonna put it above Canyon because the layout is still decent, and it's pretty fluent to fight all the mobs in it, etc. So if you're looking for efficiency, it's pretty decent, I reckon. Next up we have one of the citadels. It's the Copper Citadel. The Copper Citadel is the citadel where you go on these huge caravan wagons, and then you fight Yamanra, which is the pinnacle boss or the last boss of Act 2 basically. And it's really cool. I like all of the citadels. All of the citadels have high marks in my book. You don't get to do them that often. They're pretty rare on the Atlas, and when you do them they are pretty awesome. Like the Copper Citadel is my least favorite because of the layout of the map. It's very narrow passages, and yeah, it's pretty hard to just move forward basically. Yamanra is a really cool boss. Yeah, so for me the Copper Citadel is probably I'm gonna put it in A tier. It's not an S tier for me, but definitely high up on the list. If I find this on that list, I just path to it and do it basically. So next up we have Creek. Creek is one of the most beautiful maps in my book. Like it's also kind of special. I think it's this and one more map. I think it's Riverside? No, I'm not sure, but it's this and one other map. You can actually run around in the water and fight stuff, which is pretty cool. The layout is nothing too exciting. It's decent, and the boss is Tyranny, the Hateful. It's not the most interesting boss, either mechanics wise or thematics wise. So even if it's a really beautiful map, it's in other regards it's not the best. So I still like running it. I don't mind it. So I will put it into B tier. Or maybe I should put it. Now I'm gonna put it into B tier. I think it's a really nice map. Next up we have Crimson Shores. Now Crimson Shores is one of the, I think, few maps have the same kind of unique look and feel to it. It's like these red beaches with a lot of these like, I think it's volcanic rocks or something. And it looks very special. Has all of these like wreckages and stuff laying around. In general, I think it's a pretty cool map visual wise. Layout is not the worst, it's not the best. It has these like ridges where you can run on the beach, and then you're blocked from going inland, so you have to like half around and stuff like that. The final boss is really cool. It's Volcar the Emberborn, which is one of the bosses from he's picked out from the Sanctum. It's this like volcanic, it's the first boss of it's the last boss of the first floor of Sanctum, that is. And I think it's pretty cool. There's no other way to fight him unless you want to do Trial of the Sekemas, which in my opinion is not something I like to do, at least not when solo playing. So Crimson Shores for me is it's pretty high up. I think it's in B tier as well. Yeah, I will put it in low B tier. Next up we have Crypt. So Crypt is a mixed bag for me. The layout is decent. I like these maps that have a fairly linear layout, which are still kind of broad and uniform. So Crypt is like the most brainless map to run basically, because it looks the same everywhere. At least if you ignore the levers and the side passages, which is a negative for sure. But otherwise, other than that, it's very just relaxing and comfortable to run. The final boss is Meltwax, the Mockery of Fate, which is the statue that turns into like this kind of dragon lizard, which breathes fire and shoots rockets and stuff like that. It's one of the least appealing bosses to me, at least. But I like to run Crypt. It's definitely up. I would put it into high C tier. It's not something I mind running, and I actually enjoy it most of the time. I enjoy playing the game always, but in relation to other maps. Okay, so now we have Dark Domain. So Dark Domain is basically identical to Abyssal Depths in many ways. I could put it into D tier, but Dark Domain also has a boss fight in the end at least, which makes it more interesting. It's more rare, so you're more happy to see it. And I will actually put Dark Domain in... I wonder if it's high C tier or B tier. I will put it in low B tier. It's like... you don't care that much about the map, but at least you get to fight the boss. And you might get a cool max invitation or something like that, so... that's where it goes. Okay, so Decay. Now Decay is like a big bog. It's not visually most appealing, but you have all of these mushrooms growing everywhere. It's very brownish in color. The layout is not something to hooray about. It's decent. I feel like the enemy density is pretty good though, so you always have stuff to fight when you run Decay, which is pretty nice. The final boss is the Fungus Behemoth, which is one of the most used bosses for Atlas maps. But I don't mind it. I really think it's a good boss. And I have some kind of idea that I overrate it maybe, that other players won't find it that interesting. But he teleports, he puts you into the middle of the arena and blows it up, he throws rocks at you, he summons vines it's a kind of... it has a lot of variation, and it's fairly interesting visual wise. Now Decay is also the map where I think the Fungus Behemoth fits in the most. You can also find him in like a desert map and Seepage, which is like this Valruin map, which doesn't make as much sense. So for me Decay is I would say it's a decent map. Maybe I will put it somewhere here beneath Backwash. Okay, so now we have Derelict Mansion. Now Derelict Mansion is one of those deadly boss maps. You have to find all of these like wisps on the Atlas, which you chase around, and then when you chase them around enough, it will unlock the Derelict Mansion so that you can do it. I think it's called the Mansion in the Mists before you unlock it. So Derelict Mansion is something that if I unlock it, and sometimes I actually think it's worth doing because it's a really cool boss fight. It's mostly for the boss fight I'll rate this. The visuals is also really good, like it's a very cool map and unique in many ways, with a lot of details and stuff to look at. Also an interesting layout. I think you can go to the upper floor of the map, but that doesn't really progress you towards the boss because the boss is on the first floor. So it's unique in that way. The boss fight is actually pretty sweaty. It's like this gauntlet fight. You fight two bosses at the same time, and I'm a sucker for that stuff. It's like also the Alpine Ridge where you fight the two witches. I really like to fight more than one boss at the same time. It just makes it more interesting. So for me, Derelict Mansion is an A tier. I always run it when I manage to unlock it, and sometimes I even go out of my way to actually chase those wisps around, which is fairly annoying, and unlock it because I want to kill the boss. So yeah. Then we have Deserted, and Deserted I feel is like, it's basically like the other Canyon Confluence. It's in the same bucket for me pretty much. The boss fight is the Lord of the Pit. It's like you know, this boss fight in the campaign where you fight this necromancer guy and this big skeletal behemoth at the same time. It's just the necromancer this time, and that makes it less interesting, and he's not that interesting to begin with in my book. So yeah, the certain for me is pretty low. It's the layout is I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not great. I would put it in E tier for sure. I even put it beneath Bloodwood. Okay, so next up we have Digsite. Now Digsite is also one of the maps that I very early on learned which one it is, and it's one with Aurelion, mostly because of the boss fight actually. This is one of the coolest boss fights in the game period, in my opinion. Like, not only the mechanics, like there is a boss in Path of Exile 1 called Cyrus, which is one of the pinnacle bosses, or was at least at one point. And there are some mechanics borrowed from that fight for sure, like this, you have to run around in those like labyrinths, it builds up and stuff to not die, etc. I also think the thematics and the visuals of the boss are really cool. It's like this religious fanatic guy who can control earth and stuff, and yeah, he dies he just turns to ketchup by all of the rocks he conjures himself. It's really, really cool. The map itself is not the best. It's actually, I mean, it's fairly open with a lot of obstacles everywhere, which is one of my least favorite map types. But I still like to run Digsite because I just want to kill Aurelion so much. So for me, this is up in A tier for sure. I think I'm gonna put it above Cenotes. It's better than Copper Citadel. No, not better than the Copper Citadel, but yeah, a really cool boss fight. It's not that often that you find bosses and you wonder, why can't I play as that guy, you know? So yeah. Next up we have Epitaph. And Epitaph is basically this it's undead themed map. It has quite a great layout. I really like the layout. It's like this, you have a box which you can run around if you want to clear the entire map. But if you don't want to, you can just head straight into the boss, which is in the middle, and it has these multiple passages to the boss fight, which is a really good layout because it gives you agency in what you want to do. Do you want to just rush the boss straight up and kill it and move forward in the atlas? Or do you want to earn experience and just farm, grind gear and stuff, grind items? You can kill all the monsters in the map. It's not a problem finding content like expedition and abysses and stuff like that. So the boss fight is Saphira, the Dread Consort, which is like from Act 1, these two bosses, Draven and Saphira, that help each other out, the undead lady, I would say. So for me, Epitaph is pretty high up. I think it's in A tier. It's not on the same level as Digsite, it's not as beautiful as Cenotes, but the layout is really good, so I will put it... I think I'll put it here. Yeah, that's good. Above Alpine Ridge, under Cenotes. And now we have the Ezomyte Megaliths, which is another unique map. To me, like, I'm a bit conflicted when it comes to this unique map. It's like, it's a lot of work for not that much gain. I feel like the rewards you get for killing like 10 or 11 bosses or whatever it is in a row, it takes a lot of time. Even if you kill them fast, the mechanics of just summoning them, like you have to wait for this beam, getting done summoning them, and etc. And you have to also find all of these monoliths before, activate them before you can even start the encounter. So it's like Castaway. It's like, I don't mind doing it once or twice every now and then. It's not that I'm happy to seeing it on Atlas. I want to go out of my way to path through annoying maps in order to reach it. Maybe it's better early during the Atlas, but also in early, then it takes a lot more time because you don't have the damage to actually sink the bosses fast. So for me, the Ezomyte Megaliths is one of the worst unique maps in the game. It's worse than Castaway, I feel. Because especially in the late game, because you just one-shot those bosses almost, so there's not really any challenge to be had either. So I will put this, I think I'll put this in high D, actually. Yeah, high D seems right. Okay, so that's all of the maps I will do for this part 1. In the next part we will go through maps F to P, or with names starting with F to P. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give me a like, maybe a subscribe if you want to see more similar content in the future, maybe for future leagues with all of the new maps and stuff added, content added. And yeah, have a good day, and hope I'll see you in the future.